Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Osborn. And on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic, impactful lessons that they've learned throughout the course of their business so that we can learn as well. As always, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everybody hates. We use this method to book 26 qualified leads and sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, or endless social media posting. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn on LinkedIn. The link to that will be in the show notes below. But on today's show, our special guest is Peter Roper. He's the owner of the Family Business Practice, where he helps family businesses act before pressure causes lasting damage. So Peter, thank you so much for being on the show. It's great having you on. And I want to start off with a question that I always love starting off with, which is this. If you were able to somehow go back in time and start over in what you're doing in your business, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently in the first 12 months?
Oh, first of all, Jason, thanks for having me on the show. I've been around a long time. What you're actually asking me to do is to go back 30 odd years. So that's a
Okay.
good question. I think probably two things. One, I wouldn't beat myself up so much. I
Mm,
think that's one of the things I wouldn't. You don't know what you don't know. And then the older I get, the more I realize the less I know. And you can only know so much by doing it. That's the reality. It doesn't matter what you say or do. You have to go through various things or stuff. So I guess I would do. I would try not to beat myself up so much. I think the other thing I would actually do as well is I really would find more people in the first place to help me. Now I would say that, wouldn't I? But I actually think it's true. I started a business on a belief that I could do things. I'd come from a corporate background. I thought I knew business. And when I started my own business, I found out that life was a completely different ball game. And
mm.
I should have found more information. I should have got more involved with other people who could have given me that knowledge, etc. Because although it's great to get involved and just get on with it, get your feet wet, if you've got somebody around who can say, hold on a minute, I wouldn't do that if I were you, that would have saved me a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of heartache, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. It, what you're saying there is really interesting because we start off thinking we know what we're doing, find out we don't really know what we're doing at all. Um, but it's interesting. I think a lot of people are they're hesitant to get advice from people that have been there and done that. And I don't know why that is, but it's really interesting. Some people are really open to that, and obviously they grow faster and learn faster. But yeah, it's definitely something I have learned as well in the course of my businesses that I've had is, just take advice from people that have been there and done that and don't question it. Nothing wrong to question it, but in terms of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that. They've been through it. They
Yeah,
kind of know what they're talking about. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I spent my first handful of years. I've been at a senior level, director level in a major corporate. So I really thought I understood business. And to be truthful, I did understand corporate business,
sure.
but I didn't understand running my own business. And in later times, when we were running a family business, really, I didn't understand that at all. So,
Yeah.
is it a British thing? Perhaps it is to a degree where we don't easily ask for help. I think that's another thing. We have our guards up, and I think at the moment, particularly, we do need to let our guard down and ask for help, but get it from people who know what they're talking about, preferably.
Mm. That's interesting. Because I'm American, but I live here in England as well. And I never really thought about it. Is it a cultural thing? I think the British are a little bit more reserved, but the reason why I never really thought of it as a cultural thing is because I know plenty of Americans as well that just don't ask for help as much. So that's an interesting concept. I guess every culture has its uniqueness in the way that they do stuff, which is yeah, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
topic,
and
I think.
generational stuff as well.
Yeah.
I'm 69 years old, so I'm 70 in July. And I'm a boomer, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And I was brought up with parents who, in the silent generation, you did not ask for help. That was the point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
generationally, as you go through Gen X, Gen Y, etc., to Gen Z, there's a different approach in each of those levels. I think now, in the 20 somethings and 30 somethings, they're definitely better at asking for help, I think, than my generation was. Um, it's the road you tread, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, talking about that around just looking for help and all that sort of thing. What's been the hardest part of scaling what you do without coming across as like spammy or salesy in your approach?
Well, I'll be frank, Jason, and that is most of my business for an awful long time was always referral driven.
Mm.
And that's a nice place to be. We obviously we know the ups and downs routine of that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I know that you talk about that a lot, quite rightly. Um, but I can't stand the salesy, spammy approach at all. I never could stand it, so I have
yeah,
never done it. And in fact, on the new website, the websites literally they're just being finished off now as we record this. You will see that our approach very much is: look, here's some stuff, here's some resources. Some are free, some cost a small amount of money, etc., etc., etc. If you want it, they're there. And that I find works much better because we don't respond well to the sale to a spammy sales process. We never have done, I don't think. Family businesses definitely don't. They really don't like it because family businesses view things very differently. It's about relationships, reputations. It's about longer term thinking. And that's why at the moment, because there's more pressure, there's more nervousness about making the wrong decisions, etc., which is why we help by saying, look, we're a safe pair of hands to have a conversation with. It's for me personally, for our business, it's very much about doing that by saying, look, we're here to help, we can help you. Sometimes we can help you, it doesn't cost you anything. If you want some help, we're around, but we're not going to sell you to death because it's just not us. And I don't
yeah,
believe the clients that we attract, it's not them either. So
yeah.
the spammy clients wouldn't want to talk with us anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way, and I've probably lost out on clients just because I may not push as hard and things, but I've just always been really strong on the relationship side and what I coach my clients in as well, which leads on nicely to my next question, which is what is one thing that you've changed in how you build relationships to make that sales process feel easier?
Two things. I mean, we've run events for many years, and that all came from the family event business, if you like. With COVID, we ran 150 Zoom events alone.
Wow.
We just barreled it in. The following year, there was 100 events where we just said, look, everyone needs help, barrel in. Um, the thing I've done in recent times is to say, you know what, I'm kind of at the end of where I want to be with running lots of events. I'd much rather do stuff that attracts people to me. I'm very happy to do Zoom events like this. This is straightforward and it's very easy to do
Yeah.
something like this. But um, the switch, if you like, is the switch in my head. And the switch in my head has been, do you know what? We've got an awful lot of great stuff. There's an awful lot of experience, not just in me, but in the family business.
Mhm.
And therefore, our switch, if you like, is to say, we're here. If you want us, shout, basically.
Yeah.
And we're not overtly selling. It's not our way. It's never been our way. That's the switch. And the switch in my head has been, do you know what? I'm all right with that. I'm comfortable with it. And since I did that, funnily enough, people have been coming to talk to us.
Yeah. Wow. So,
Does that make
when
sense?
it does, it does. What have you, what do you think has been the difference in, you said now that you've made that switch, people are actually coming to talk to you. What do you think has been that difference to make people want to talk to you more after making that switch?
I think because we made sure that anything that we were putting out wasn't salesy, wasn't spammy, definitely not spammy, and spent time in saying This is what we're about. So, in other words, putting a message out. Now, don't get me wrong; it's not that we're just sitting here doing nothing, but
Yeah.
but putting out a message that's saying, here's the stuff that we've got. Here's the stuff that we do. If it interests you,
Mm.
call us, email us,
Yeah.
whatever. Get in touch, basically.
Yeah.
Um, but we've not been pitching, promoting. We've just been saying, we've got good stuff. Here it is. If it interests you, great. If it doesn't, you know what? Let's just, let's have a conversation if it's
Yeah.
appropriate. But otherwise, fine. And
Yeah.
that is it, very much in the way of your style, Jason, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know everyone's style is different. I just find that works really well. Like everything you're saying is like, yep, yep. I agree with it. I find it's just a lot. The relational approach is just much more natural things. I think sometimes the relationship style, your sales process may take a little bit longer, but when you close your clients, they're there. They're really strong. As opposed to trying to wow people and sell them and all that. That's just my own experience, which is yeah. But I love what you're saying there for sure, Peter.
It's between a transaction, the difference between a transactional and a relational sell, isn't it, at the end of the day? Um, th-
Absolutely.
there's a place for a transactional sell, and there's a couple of
Yeah.
things on our website now where we're saying, hey, look, there's a price there. But by the way, we're not going to spam you. We're not going to
Mm,
chase you. We're not even going to
yeah.
drop more emails to you. Here's something that we know is worthwhile. Have it. By the way, if you don't like it, fine, we'll sort that out. But
Yeah.
it's worth you going through that. There, it's fine.
Yeah.
But obviously, where we're really going towards is creating relationships where people say, you know what, we want bigger help.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that. I love that. Well, over the next 2 to 3 years, Peter, I know you guys are, as you said, as we're recording this, the new websites are going up for what you guys do. But over the next 2 to 3 years, what are your goals with the business? What would you like to achieve?
Well, as I said, I'm coming up to my 70th year. I've pitched myself just under 3 years. By the end of 72, I think I'll probably be in a place where I'm saying, you know what, I kind of want to go and do the stuff I like doing, like racing motor cars and things like that. But um, so the goal is just to get this message out to as many people as possible in family businesses, because unfortunately, so many organizations don't get this message across. They look at you and go, well, I've never really thought of family businesses as different. Yet in the UK, as we both are, over 5 million businesses are actually family businesses. If
Wow.
you if you include self-employed, it's way more than that. And so,
Yeah.
and I don't want to get political other than the fact this government doesn't understand business and it doesn't understand family businesses.
Yeah.
It means that getting the message out that one, a family business is still worth having, and two, if you want to, it can be multi-generational and it can be passed across and all the rest of it. It's just you've got to, look at things in different ways. And it's a very worthwhile place to be, but it's a very different place. And for many people, family businesses are the backbone of the country and worldwide. Obviously,
True.
from the States, it's exactly the
Yeah.
same. The States are better at telling everybody they're a family business than we are in the UK. So if I've
Mm.
finished in about 3 years' time with the business having expanded accordingly, if I'd got the message across that it's okay to say you're a family business and be proud of it, I'd actually be chuffed with that.
That's amazing. No, I love that. I love your goal for that, Peter, for sure. Well, for people that are looking to get in touch with you and learn a little bit more about what you do, what's the best place for them to get in contact with you?
One or two websites, either peterroper.com or familybusinesspractice.com. That's practice with a C, familybusinesspractice.com, peterroper.com. You'll find me. Drop me a note. And I always talk to everybody. If anybody drops me a note, it's always me that answers. I'd love to have a chat. And Jason, I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you. Thank you.
It's been great. I love having your thoughts and input. Over 30 years of business experience. It's just great. And I definitely recommend everyone checking out Peter on the different places, particularly if you're a family-owned business or even self-employed. There's a lot of nuance with the being self-employed, but also family businesses as well. And you can hear from Peter's experience. He knows what he's talking about. So go check him out for sure. So Peter, thank you so much for being on the show. And as a reminder to everyone listening, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everybody hates. To find out more, message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn. The link to that will be in the show notes below. And until next episode, stay inspired.